Hey, what's up, fellas? We are here today to do overlay for NBA. I haven't been on here the last couple days, so I'm sure this will make a couple of you guys who comment on all the videos very, very happy.
Yeah, we haven't made one of these in a couple of days. I know weekends are a little bit different for us, so excited to get back on here and talk this out with you.
All right, still no Giannis news. I don't expect to get it until probably when they do starting lineups, about a half hour before lock.
Yeah, I agree. Kind of similar to. I actually thought we got the Jokic news earlier than expected yesterday.
I wasn't even watching for it. I always assumed Jokic was going to play, so I was never worried about this one. This one seems to be a real question, though, right?
Agreed, and I didn't mean to compare them like that. I just meant like I also expected Denver to wait on the news for a lot of the same reasons. Because why rush the news?
For sports bettors and DFS players, bud.
Yeah, right.
All right, man. So speaking of Giannis versus LeBron, Harden,
I
yeah,
I do think like I almost feel like going into this video we have to each set a rule or talk about both ways. Like if Giannis is in or Giannis is out.
let's talk about it both ways. If Giannis is in, I'm still going to pick LeBron James.
Same, because also you're not sure how the injury affects Giannis.
Or if he leaves again, because though I was explaining this to some guys the other day, they're like, well, it's just, ankle injury. I'm like, he's going to get ankle injuries because he spends so much time in the paint and there's 8 guys in there, so that's 16 feet. Like you're going to land on people's feet. It's just part of what he does, going up for rebounds, going up for there. So it's like, it's a rough injury for him.
Yeah, for sure. And that's kind of why I'm not sure he's going to play. I know Stephen A mentioned like the Grant Hill injury from like literally the year 2000, and obviously different type of players, but Grant Hill was the guy that hurt his ankle and rushed back and was never the same. So that stuff, with a superstar like Giannis, like I don't think they're rushing him back by any means.
All right. Next up, James Harden versus Anthony Davis. Give me Anthony Davis. I'm a bigger Harden fan than I am Anthony Davis, but the path for success for him is just easier because the matchup for him against Houston, they just have nobody who can really guard him.
Yeah, I'll take Davis here. It's always difficult going against Harden, but I mean, a lot to like about Davis here. And Harden hasn't been like, the 80-point Harden that we see when he's
Mm-mm.
facing Wizards on Friday night in November.
Much how Giannis can't dominate and get to the rim in the playoffs the way he does in the regular season, we don't see like 90-point Harden games on the regular in the playoffs like you do in the regular season. It's just life gets harder for him. I mean, they really focus in. It's the difference between the playoffs and the regular season.
Playoffs are just a slower type game. In order to have like 90 DK points, you need to have like 45 real points, like 15 and 15. Lines like that don't happen on a daily basis in the playoffs.
No, playoff basketball and regular season basketball is significantly different. And Harden has never been accused of being like a dominant playoff performer, right? It's been a little bit of the knock on him throughout his career.
Yeah, exactly. We see that eye to eye.
All right, Bam versus Middleton. If Giannis is out, give me Middleton. If Giannis is in, give me Bam.
I'm going to go Bam either way. I think Miami really does a good job, on Middleton tonight. Obviously, it's a different type situation, but Bam just gets his every night.
Watching the Heat play, you weren't on the video with me the other day when we talked about this. So in my life, whether it's the Brewers, Packers, Bucks, or any team that I'm rooting for, when some team knocks them out, I never root for the team that knocked them out. This year's different. When Miami eventually knocks Milwaukee out, whether that's today or in 3 days from now or whatever we're talking about, I'm going to be rooting on the Heat. I like the way they play. And between Butler and Bam, like I just love what they bring to the table every single day. Bam is that guy that even as good as his stats are, he brings more to the table than just his statistics.
Yeah, exactly. He has like very little usage and is still putting up like 50 DK points a game, basically. It's funny how Jimmy Butler has gone from like more or less a guy that was like, very disliked and hated for what he did in Minnesota and talked his way out of Chicago. And now he's like revered, it seems.
Well, I always loved Jimmy. So I like the fact that other people are giving him his due now. So, yes, this Miami team, they work hard. They're very respectful in how they go about things.
I definitely don't think they're like, of course they're in the second round and they're probably going to beat Milwaukee, so they could win the title. But of all four teams in the conference finals, if we're going to just assume it's Lakers, Clippers, Boston, Miami, I have Miami as like my fourth team by a lot.
As far as talent goes, I give them a little bit of a shot because what they have that the other teams don't is there is more team continuity here than the other teams.
So I think that they could beat Boston, but I have Boston as a favorite. I don't know how you see it.
I think Boston's definitely more talented, but I
Why don't you
like
think,
what Miami's doing.
well, why don't you think Boston has that continuity though?
They're a lot better now that Kyrie's gone. The team continuity is significantly better. But I put Miami right now, it's just as far as like a team and how they get up for one another to play. I think Miami plays as hard together and as much team continuity as anybody in the NBA. I think they're probably like my top team.
I agree. I don't disagree with that. But I also think that Toronto and Boston have similar like continuity and attributes. And they're also more talented. It's how I see it.
But I don't think they're significantly more
Agreed.
talented.
But I
So
don't
that's
think
where
Miami is significantly more like you talked about. I think that those teams also have those attributes.
yeah, for sure. It should be a good match. I expect like I'm more interested in seeing the Heat play like the Clippers or the Lakers because both of those teams have a lot more star power. But it
Yeah.
reminds me of like when the Pistons
Does it?
a little bit when it was like Chauncey and Rip and the Wallaces were like they just play well together, even though they are lacking from a superstar perspective. When your best player is Jimmy Butler, you are going to have less talent than the other teams out there, but they just get up and play with one another.
Butler's very good though. Like he's an all-star.
Right, but he doesn't have Anthony Davis talent. You know how critical I am of Anthony Davis. He is 10 times more talented than Jimmy Butler.
I don't know about 10 times, but yeah, he's definitely more talented. And quite honestly, like I'm not going to say they don't have it. Of course they have a chance. I mean, they're up 3-1 against the best team in the NBA this year. But and Boston versus Miami in Vegas will be probably close to a pick'em series, especially if they finish off tonight in Miami. So that series I think will be close. But if they have to face I just cannot see LeBron James losing to Jimmy Butler in the finals. Can't see it.
Well, LeBron's still got to get there. I still have the Clippers beating them.
Yeah, I mean, and if the Clippers beat them, like I struggle to see Kawhi and them losing to Miami. Although for some reason I think the Miami has a better chance against the Clippers than the Lakers. Although that's for a video for another day.
You know who can really check AD? Bam Adebayo.
Yeah,
Tough matchup.
Bam is turning himself into like one of the most valuable guys in the league. Like, is Butler their best player?
Yes, Butler's the best player and their leader, but I love Bam's intangibles. I love what he does. I love the hustle, the rebounding, the ability to pass from all over. He's a really nice player.
Yeah, we're both huge on Bam, man. He's just awesome.
Yeah. Anyways, all right, we'll keep going. So Jimmy Butler against Russell Westbrook. I got Butler today.
This one's really tough. I don't want to pick it. Missed shots make you lean Butler though.
Dragic versus Covington. It's a tough one. I'm gonna ride with Dragic, a little bit higher of a floor.
Sure, I'll ride with you there.
All right, Bledsoe versus Lopez. If Giannis is in, give me Brook by a hair. If Giannis is out, give me Bledsoe by a hair.
I think I'm going to roll Bledsoe regardless. I like the way he looked last game, and even if Giannis is in, I hope that he still plays with that same confidence.
All right, Eric Gordon versus Jay Crowder. Give me Eric Gordon by just by a hair.
Give me Eric Gordon here solidly.
All right, Tucker versus House. Tucker, easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Probably the number one on the board as of right now.
All right, Kuzma versus Duncan Robinson. Robinson's coming off a real good game, but he's been playing more minutes. Like they were really stagnant in how many minutes he was getting, but he's been playing more and more. Appears to get some growing confidence from Coach Spo. So give me Duncan Robinson.
Yeah, give me Robinson. Kuzma is a wild card though, especially like if McGee is out too. I could see him getting good run here. He just really I don't know. He's just not that good.
It's a good point, actually. I think that's a quiet point right there that I think if McGee is out, Kuzma could see more runs. So pay attention to that one as they slide AD down to the 5, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. All right, Rondo versus Danny Green. This is actually my top one on the board. Rondo, easy.
Yeah, Rondo for sure. He just does more.
What's that?
Rondo just does so much more. Danny Green's a guy that plays D and shoots threes.
Yep, and doesn't even shoot threes well. So McGee versus Dwight Howard. Howard didn't play last game. If McGee plays, give me McGee.
Yeah, give me McGee, but I will say, I think the recency bias is real here. Do you think that Dwight Howard's just not going to play this series again? I mean, I'm not saying that's not a possibility, but I'm asking you if you think that.
I don't know. You mentioned that before the first game that you thought he might not play, so you have to probably dig this more than anybody.
Yeah, I forget saying that, but yes, now I agree with you now.
Maybe more along those lines. You thought that they might try to go small.
Well, I was just interested to see like what would happen in the series, and I thought you were the one that made the point. Like Houston does not change what they're doing, like because they don't even have the pieces to do that. And
Yeah.
I'm not sure why, but the Lakers seem to be adjusting and like playing towards Houston style.
Right. And well, the Lakers just won this game, so I guess there's no reason to take a look at Dwight Howard. So I think pick McGee, and if he doesn't play, it's off the board.
For sure.
All right. Marvin Williams versus George Hill. Give me George Hill by an eyelash.
Yeah, give me George Hill also. He just still does more things than Marvin Williams, even though he doesn't do a lot either.
DiVincenzo over Markieff Morris. Definitely DiVincenzo. Markieff Morris ain't hitting 3 threes again.
Agreed.
Wes Matthews versus Nunn. I want none of this one personally.
Yeah, same. I'll take Matthews though because he at least gets the minutes.
All right, Rivers versus Corver. Yeah.
I'm gonna take. Go ahead.
Corver, I guess.
I'm gonna take Rivers. Just a gut call.
Not looking to do this one. Connaughton versus Iguodala. If Giannis is out, give me Connaughton. If Giannis is in, give me Iggy.
I still think you can make a realistic case for Connaughton because, like we talked about earlier, Giannis potentially leaving. He won't be 100%. I'm gonna take Connaughton.
All right, Jeff Green versus Alex Caruso. Caruso did not play great last game, but he played bigger minutes, so I'll go with Caruso.
Yeah, I'll go Caruso also. Green has played a bit more than we thought he would, but he still hasn't been good by any means.
Yeah. All right, guys, that's what we got for today. Best of luck to everybody today. We'll drop some more overlay football as the week progresses. A lot to talk about this week. Busy week of DFS.
Yep. Thanks, guys.